Well, this week we're going to be getting real with Gene Jensen. This guy, well, he's well known as Flukemaster. Well, Gene, we've actually been in your home state the last few days fishing together, and prior to this, I had actually just known you from seeing a few YouTube videos, and we've been out on the water and have enjoyed a good couple days.
Yeah, it's been fun. Been really good fishing. The bass just moved up on bed, so it made for interesting. I hate bed fishing, but it made for interesting fishing, and it's been a good couple of days for sure.
Well, folks, this guy has a pretty unique story, and to me, this is kind of, I relate to it because you kind of jumped into fishing at a little bit older age in life.
Yep.
Same thing with me. I kind of fell into the TV side at in the 40 range, and have kids at home, and but you have a great, what I call the American dream kind of story, because you spent a number of years in the military and then spent 20 years total, I believe, as an X-ray tech.
Yeah, 6 in the military and then 15 or I don't know how many years working in the hospital. So,
and then, with your love for fishing, you decided you wanted to teach the world to fish, as your slogan says, and you got into the YouTube videos, and it has blown up, and you are now a full-time angler.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a really, and it really wasn't a choice, which is crazy. If you look back on it, I never chose to do that. I was voluntold. I mean, it was just like things just happened, and I saw things, and I'm like, yeah, I can do that, or yeah, I can do that, and I try it and stay with it. And what I always tell people is I'm the YouTuber from early that never quit, and I just stayed with it. But I started a year and a half, 2 years after YouTube even started, and then we didn't know we could make money at it. I was doing it for 4 years before I knew it all, that we could make money at all on YouTube. And so it's just one of those things where I just, I fell into it just because I was looking for my place in the industry, I guess I could say. And I wanted to do something that nobody else was doing. But also I've got a God-given talent to teach. I started teaching Sunday school when I was 16 years old. I was a scoutmaster or in scout leadership for 25 years. Always been around the youth and around young people, teaching them and mentoring them and so on and so forth. So it just kind of fit. And now I just love to see the look on people's face, or I love to read the stories when they catch their first fish, or when they have taken their kids out and taught them how to fish because of what they've seen on the videos. Just tons and tons of stories is what motivates me to keep doing what I'm doing. Been doing it for 13 years now, so.
13 years.
Yep.
And how long have you been inside the outdoor industry and working in it? Were any prior to that?
Yeah, I started out, when I first started getting serious about bass fishing, the internet was still fairly new. 2001, 2002, I started getting on forums and learning about bass fishing. And that's kind of what started all of this. But I became staff on a very large bass fishing forum, and then I was there for 10 years and just kept watching people and seeing what was going on in the social media world, because that was early social media. And then I'd go to ICAST forum and help to get sponsors and that kind of stuff. I'm the kind of guy that I can talk to somebody for 5 minutes and become friends with them. So I was the point man for going and trying to get sponsors for this website. So it was a lot of fun, and I got a lot of good contacts, made a lot of good friends. So.
Well, you're definitely hard to get to know. You're definitely.
I put it all out there.
Hey, that's it. And that's the truth about you. We jumped in the boat, and it wasn't 5 minutes into the day yesterday, and we were giving each other a hard time and laughing and just, truthfully going out and just having some fun, talking about fishing, catching fish, talking about family. You actually have 4 kids?
Yep, 4 kids.
And wife, you've been married how many years?
22 years now.
22? That is an accomplishment in itself nowadays. I'm in that same range.
Yep.
And, but it is, as I said, it's, folks look at somebody like you and what you've accomplished and go, man, how does it happen? And like you said, sometimes it's almost by accident that you're picked to do that. And you genuinely, truly love to teach people about fishing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it's it's fun to see. Even yesterday, while I was showing you some of the stuff that the little tricks that I do, and I love to see the wow. Because a lot of the stuff that we do, especially around, those of us who've been fishing for a long time, and we show another person that's been fishing for a long time something they've never seen, you get a big wow, and it's pretty cool. I see that a lot from everybody. I wouldn't have thought of it that way. That kind of stuff. It's pretty fun.
Well, as an angler, though, that's what you're providing through your YouTube to so many people is those details. Because just like me yesterday, I missed a few fish on a tube, blipping in there, seeing that fish. Well, today, what did I do? I went in there, changed a 6-aught hook, changed that bait up because I'm looking at, okay, how did that bait go through that plastic? Why did it fold up? And that was a different tube that I was using that I'd never used.
Yeah.
And so now, for me, I learned something, but it seems, for you and I, we can sometimes take it for granted.
All the time.
But you don't now with those videos because you're handing it to that audience and saying, hey, look, I've had this problem. Here's something to think about. And you and I shove that in my pocket and I just go on.
Yeah.
And I find that just fascinating that your audience, that you have such a big audience of folks. When you walk around, I seen you at the Classic, and I watch the people just coming up and going, there's Gene, da-da-da-da. And then when, I made a post about you and I said that, and people are commenting, oh, you're down there fishing with him? Wow. It's amazing what those how-tos have.
Yeah, it is. And I call it a side effect to what I do because it's not even, it's not a priority. It's not a goal. I do enjoy it. I love meeting people. I love talking fishing and that kind of stuff. And you would think that with YouTube being as big as it is, it would go to my head. Luckily, I have enough friends to keep me grounded that if any of this crap ever goes to my head, they're going to hem me up. I promise, that kind of stuff. But it's just I love to do it. I just, and the look on people's face that I have touched is cool, just cool, But as for the fame and all that stuff, I'm just well known. I don't know. I just do what I do.
Well, but that's probably why it's grown the way it is because you have a true love for fishing and you see that joy that you have for sharing. Everything from setting up a kayak or to all the details of fishing. You enjoy sharing that, and I think people grab that. And that makes it genuine, and then that's what makes them relate to you because, as you said in the boat, and I really appreciated this, is you don't want to tell somebody how to be doing it. You want to share the information you have and be alongside with them when you're talking about fishing. You're not trying to say, here I am, here you are. You're sharing them information that you have acquired and say, hey, this is how I see to do this. That doesn't mean it's always right, but this is what I found. And I think people really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's just, and it's all about who you keep in mind while you're making those videos. I try to keep in mind, and it's my sister's fault. She's the one that suggested this years ago. Keep in mind that single mom who has no clue what to do, goes into a tackle shop, sees all this tackle on the wall, gets very intimidated and walks out, but wants to teach her child how to fish. Or wants her child to fish because he shows interest in it. And so that I always try to keep that or somebody at that level in mind when I'm teaching because I've made all the mistakes. I've put them in my back pocket and I try, but I try to remember them to be able to tell people maybe not to keep them from making those mistakes, but to know what to do when those mistakes happen, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how I always try to keep it in my head. And it's become second nature. I've been doing so long now, but back when it started, it was, that's who I was talking to, it was pretty neat.
Well, with that kind of perspective, it draws a lot of people into this great sport. And it's a great family activity. Mm-hmm. It's a great fun activity. It's something somebody can grab a $20 rod from Walmart or anywhere and run out here to the little pond down the street that the neighbor will let them fish and can enjoy a few hours. And it's, as me and there's a lot of friendships and bonds and stories that come from spending time in the outdoors and around a fishing pole.
It's hard to have a bad day of fishing. You know, I always talk when I worked up in North Carolina, you go real close to Pinehurst, you know, golf course, that kind of stuff. The funny joke was, you can have a bad day of golf, you can't have a bad day of fishing.
That is a fair statement, because I can say for the most part, even on the bad days, I've just been glad I've been out there and wasn't at work doing something else.
Yeah. Well, let's correct that. Until it's your job,
Yeah.
and you can have a bad day.
There are a few days when some of this equipment and stuff doesn't work right, that it can be a little frustrating.
Yep.
But that's
100%.
where we kind of turn the side of it that is the business. You know, that's
Yeah.
the side that people probably don't always see from the YouTube and from the TV side, even on my part. You know, the video side of it is work. You know, you have to know your equipment. You still have to, you know, be creative and put the ideas together and still have a business plan. I mean, you know, and you as an angler, to continue being able to do YouTube and do all those things, it takes sponsors.
Yep.
And you've got to be able to apply yourself to treat them, you know, what I'm going to say, you got to take care of them.
Yeah.
You got to have a business plan, and you got to make it a win and a win for both parties.
Yeah.
And
you're
know,
walking on a fence, because I don't like to promote in my videos. I just don't. I never have. And so it's like a tightrope walk that I'm trying to keep them happy, still do what I do. But luckily enough, I've figured it out over the years. But every once in a while, I have to say, hey, look, I don't do it that way. Let me do it my way and watch this. Watch what happens. And so I've figured it out over trial and error that, you know, it's not a hard sell.
I agree.
Hard sells don't work. And so I do soft sells, and there are times where I'm like, hey, look, I found this thing. Yes, they are sponsored, but this is a great product. Sorry, it sounds like a sales pitch, but it's good. But I don't ever use anything I don't believe in. I mean, I turn down, gosh, I don't know how many sponsors I turn down every year, because I don't believe in their product, you know.
And you probably had the motto, you know, from talking with you, and I think we had this discussion for a little while. The sponsors and folks that I like to work with, I tell them, look, if you're going to handcuff me and we're going to have a heart attack because somebody else has a different rod or a different reel or a different product, folks, that's not going to be a fit, because the thing is, it becomes a hard sell, Gene. Then you're not genuine anymore. You know, it doesn't matter whether I drive a Chevy, you drive a Toyota, or I drive a Ford. They're probably all three great products, and they all three have the great benefits. We could share a little something positive about each one, or something that is a feature.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I don't want to hard sell, and that's the other thing I saw in you. You know, that I'm and talking with you is that right there. You know, I don't want to hard sell something. I don't mind to say to somebody, hey, you know what? I do like my Denali rods. Do you like them? But folks, I'm going to tell you, there's a ton of great fishing rod brands out there. You're using 13. I'm using Denali. There's guys using all these other brands. All of them, they're great. And it's what you find comfort in and what you've sometimes grown up using.
Yep.
You know, in my case, I've had old Shimano reels for years and love them things, and I just grab them, and I ain't sponsored by them or nothing, but it's what I know, and I tell somebody when they ask me, I go, look, I really ain't sponsored by them. It's just what I learned to use, but I don't ever want to hard sell, and I find that, you know, awesome that your videos are not pushing just boom, boom, boom product.
Yeah.
It's teaching people to fish.
Yeah. It's to the point now where if you want to know what products I'm actually using, you got to go down the description and read it, because I'm just gonna go fishing, you know. And so and another thing is, you know, sponsors are great. I mean, I get the comment a lot. Okay, but if I do a video for a sponsor, a specific video, which I do probably for a year, there's always that one guy that says, man, you're a sellout, you know, that kind of stuff. And my response is simple, you know, how much did you pay to watch my video? You know,
It was free.
It was free. I paid $35,000 last year to make videos so you could watch them for free. Somebody's got to help me pay for that. That's why we have sponsors. Now, I always tell my sponsors, and this is another one of my little funny sayings that I say that make a lot of sense, is they're not paying me to do this. I would do it for free. They're paying my wife to let me do this. 100%. If she can't pay the bills, you know, if she can't get the bills paid, the kids aren't fed, if they don't have shoes on their feet, if she, you know, and she's a penny pincher, so I'm not worried about making millions of dollars for her. But if she can't get the bills paid, I have to go back to shooting X-rays. Simple, you know. So I would do it for free, but that's how much I love this. So, but I can't.
Well, to skip out of the fishing world,
Yeah.
just to throw a little bit of the personal side of Gene in here is, you got telling me this guy actually likes to garden.
Yep.
And let's see, what else were you telling me you like to get into?
I garden, I hunt a little bit, and I sing.
That's what
I
it
love
was.
music. I love music, so I love talent. And so I'm from a family of musicians and vocalists, and it's just always been around the family. So we always have piano somewhere, and so my youngest son is really good with the piano now. I watched him when he was crawling around, singing the Star Wars theme perfectly at 6 months old. I'm like, oh no, we're in trouble. That boy is, he's pretty good. So it's fun.
And you were pretty much born and raised here in Georgia?
I was raised here. Yeah, I was born in Virginia, but I was only 4 months
Okay.
old when my dad got transferred down to Georgia. So, I got stuck in Georgia, which I love. My wife's from Georgia. I actually came home from Hawaii and met her because I knew I didn't want to marry anybody in Hawaii, and we got married 3 months later. So it was 22 years.
And like I said a minute ago, that is an accomplishment in itself.
Yep.
And it's nowadays.
Yeah, you don't see it much.
That's 22 years. I'm on that same path road too myself. So,
Yep.
But well, like I said, the fishing side of it is awesome.
Yep.
But it is truly joyful to watch what you do for folks and sharing information of fishing. And then I love that statement of that you said that your sister-in-law
Yep.
caused you to have
Yep.
think of a mom out there who has a kid that wants to go fishing, and that's keep carrying that motto, because I truly take that to
Yeah.
heart. But if you give a young angler a piece of advice about wanting to chase YouTube or fishing, well, just what would you tell a young guy out there or a young gal, getting into kayak fishing or YouTube or the industry side of it?
There's a couple of things. If you want to get into the YouTube world, why are you still talking about it? Is what I always tell people. Somebody come out, I'm about to start a YouTube channel. I look first thing in my mouth. As soon as that phrase, they say, well, I'm about to start a YouTube channel. I say, why haven't you started yet? I started with, and now they got a cell phone that's, I started with a 420 camera that is the most horrible camera in the world, but I sold almost all my tackle to buy it when I first started. I didn't have any money, and then the second thing I tell them is once you start, don't quit. It's just that simple. Learn, keep learning, keep learning. There's tons of videos on how to edit your footage and everything else, how to film. Get that started and just keep rolling with the YouTube world. Now with the fishing world, you got to be able to talk to people. It's a whole different world now than anything. It's especially if you want to be the influencer. And I was an influencer before they called it influencers. So that's how long I've been doing this. I didn't even know. I mean, it was like one of those light bulbs that pop off when I said, well, wait a minute, I'm an influencer? That kind of stuff. But you just you gotta talk, you gotta communicate, you can't look down on your fans, you can't look down on people who don't understand you. You can't, you gotta be a good person. And in the industry, the number one thing that helps me is integrity. And my sponsors know that I'm going to tell them 100% of the truth, even if it hurts their feelings. But also, I'm not going to lie to anybody. It's that important to me that no matter what, I'm not going to lie. I walked away from a $32,000 a year deal because the new marketing director asked me to lie about a product. And they were one of my first sponsors, and I'd been with them for 3 years. I literally called the owner and said, I'm out, and walked away. But I don't need it. But it's one of those things. You gotta live up to those standards. But the fishing industry is a very small industry. If you ever want to be a part of it, understand that everybody talks to everybody, and be yourself. You know, there's a lot of YouTubers out there that are not being themselves, and eventually they just kind of fade away. They may make their money, but they'll fade away. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, because YouTube it's I think it being real. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
just
I mean,
being
you can do
yourself,
those
getting out there.
crazy videos and stuff like that. Just be yourself. So.
Well, that sounds like some good advice. And, well, Gene, I just want to thank you for a couple great days down here in Georgia. And
Oh, yeah.
one, getting to know you. I have enjoyed, definitely enjoyed the day of fishing yesterday. I said couple days at the beginning of the video. We're on the second
is the
day
second
right
day,
now.
and the sun just popped
and,
out.
Yeah, and the sun's popping out. We're waiting to go fishing again. But once again, just great, sharing a couple days with you, getting to know you, and truly appreciate all your videos. And if somebody does want to go check out your stuff, how do they do that?
So the easiest way to find me on YouTube is you can search up Flukemaster and find me. I'm always wearing my Georgia hat. Go Dogs. The other way is just look up How to Fish on YouTube, and then I'm on Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok and the whole 9 yards. I'm just starting to understand TikTok. It's a different world for me.
We're gonna hear you dancing and singing.
No,
on that.
I ain't dancing. I might sing, but
we're gonna hear you dancing and singing.
I'm not gonna be dancing. That's for sure. But God did not give me that skill. But I can sing.
I can relate. Well, Gene, once again, and we appreciate it. And this is Getting Real with Gene Jensen.